This week's Torah portion is named after Pinchas, who gets elevated to the priesthood after his heroic act at the end of last week's Torah portion. Chapter 25, Book of Numbers. Details are added in the Talmud. The evil sorcerer Bilam has been unsuccessful in his plan to curse the Jews. He hatches a new plot and suggests to the nations of Moab and Midian that they conscript their beautiful young women as prostitutes and send them out to seduce the Jewish men, to convince them to worship idols. And the plan works. It culminates in this terrible scene wherein Zimri, the leader of the tribe of Shimon, is consorting with his Midianite idolatrous girlfriend, the princess Cosby, in a brothel tent in plain view of the nation, including Moses. And Zimri is guarded while in that tent by his tribesmen from the tribe of Shimon. Pinchas, Aaron's grandson from the tribe of Levi, hatches a plan to get into the tent. He removes the metal tip of his spear, hides it in his clothing, pretends that his spear is a walking stick, gets to the tent, tells the guards that he wants to enter the brothel for his own lustful reasons, and they let him in. He reattaches the spear tip to the spear, and then he turns Zimri and Cosby into a human shish kebab. Now, this isn't the first time that the tribes of Shimon and Levi are linked by an act of violence, but last time around they were on the same team. Many generations before, the original Shimon and Levi, brothers, two of the sons of Jacob, went into the city of Shechem and destroyed the men in order to rescue their sister Dinah, who had been abducted. When we read that scene, chapter 34 in Genesis, we can't tell any difference between the motivations of Shimon and Levi in entering that city and destroying the men to rescue their sister. But now, with 20/20 hindsight, when we read the story of Pinchas and Zimri, we understand what was going on. Shimon entered that city because he was outraged that his sister had been abducted and violated. You don't mess with my family. Family comes first. But he takes that too far. He thinks family comes first, right or wrong. We see this years later when the tribesmen of Shimon are protecting their leader Zimri while he's engaged in acts of infidelity, immorality, idolatry. Levi entered the city of Shechem for a very different reason. He was outraged that God's laws had been violated. And that's the same reason that his descendant, Pinchas, enters the tent and kills Zimri and Cosby. It's not a surprise many years later when the Jews enter Israel and the tribes each get a land of their own within the country, that the tribe of Levi doesn't get a land of its own. They're scattered amidst the nation because they're the Levites. They're the priests. They represent the people before God. And they set the example constantly that God comes first no matter what. But less well known is the fact that the tribe of Shimon also gets scattered. They become the teachers of Israel. Why the teachers? Maybe because if you want to be successful as a teacher, you ought to view your students as if they're your own children. In the classroom, family comes first.